Well, we have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Larry Drummond, the Executive Director of the IPMI, and I know you are a busy man, so thank you very much, Larry, for allowing us to have this opportunity to sit and talk with you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good, Larry.
Good.
Great to have you.
Thank you for having me, and not only having me for doing this for a lot of our members that are here in attendance, some of our officers. So, I mean, this is a great service that you guys are providing.
We're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So let me ask you, how long have you been a part of the IPMI?
Okay, so I've been part of the IPMI for over 25 years. The IPMI runs on a lot of voluntary service, so our board members, our committee members, and our chairs are all volunteers. And I was one of those volunteers I was on the executive committee and the board for 13 years, and I'm a past president of IPMI. But now I'm one of the employees of the IPMI as executive director.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And, we really enjoy this community of coming together and networking and socializing and learning through all the sessions and understanding the market and technologies that are developed. There's so many different types of members here at IPMI. I always like to bring the distinction that we have the primary side, we have the mining companies that are members, we have the secondary refiners, we have the banks, we have the refiners, we have collectors, we have manufacturers. I mean, who am I missing?
Not many. Basically, really, we have sort of everyone sort of in the various supply chain of precious metals, whether that's in the production of products that are made with precious metals, or as you said, in refining. And there is a heavy presence from refining, and the primary refiners. This is the really big companies that are members. They're the ones that at the end of the process produce fine precious metal comes out of their process, whether that's platinum, palladium, gold, silver, rhodium, whatever metal. But as you mentioned, we have members at every step of the way from the initial collection all the way to the primary refiners and smelters. And depending on the type of material, that could be 6 or 7 steps in the food chain.
Of course.
So, as you mentioned, we try and offer sessions and learning opportunities for everyone along the way. So,
this is not just a once-a-year annual conference. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Okay, so this is the 47th annual conference, and we're very proud of that. So pretty soon we'll be coming up on number 50, and
I was teasing Rich yesterday. I said, 50 is coming up. We're going to ask Larry to bring us to an exotic location.
Well, I already know where the location is. It's exotic for some. It's Orlando, so it's
okay.
I'm sorry, your question was?
No, it was basically that, what is it that, you are offering other than an annual conference with the IPMI? What are the opportunities here at the organization?
Maybe the better way for me to answer this is what is the IPMI experience for everyone, okay? And when I took over and we started working on the strategic plan, which was the first strategic plan that we finished now, COVID got in the way for a little bit, but I came up with 3 words on what IPMI means for people. And you could see it on various clings and stuff that we have near the registration room. Mm-hmm. So it's connect, learn, and build relationships. That's what the IPMI is about. So as you mentioned, there's all kinds of different companies that are members and that come to our events. And in addition to the types of members that are involved directly in the precious metal production and refining and things like that, we have all the service providers. So the people that finance everybody, so that's banks, the people that trade and hedge for all our customers, the insurance companies, the vaulting services,
transportation.
The transportation. So we have all of that So the whole thing here is that you can connect with a wide variety of types of people and types of services.
Even equipment manufacturers.
Equipment manufacturers here as well. And there's a lot to learn. So we have our days and sessions set up here at our annual conferences is we basically go from the morning to the very early afternoon with learning opportunities. And then the rest of the day and evening is all about connecting, and some people call it networking and whatnot like that. But the key thing of all of that, and it's really the thing that made a difference in my career, is that the biggest thing that IPMI affords you the opportunity to do, you have to work it, but it's building the relationships. If you look at the transactions between those service providers and even every step in the way on moving metal around, there's a lot of trust that's built in for one person to deal with the next person who deals with the next person. And the IPMI provides that landscape to really build those relationships. So I mentioned I was here over 25 years. Some of those relationships are so solid, they've lasted all those 25 years.
That's fantastic.
So,
yeah.
And the thing about it is I spent over 26 years at Engelhart Corporation before it became BASF. And one wise mentor said to me, people like to do business with people they like. So all things being equal, as long as your prices and what you produce is about the same,
You have an edge.
you have an edge. And sometimes people actually even pay more for those services because they know they have no question about the trust and how things are going to go. So
I understand that COVID was very challenging for the organization. There wasn't events that were taking place, and so that's behind us. Picked up the pieces from that debacle, right? And moving forward, how do you feel the future? What holds for the future here?
Well, first of all, with COVID, and I want to take the opportunity to really thank our board and our really our premier members, if you will, because they really stood behind the IPMI. We had a virtual conference, so we didn't miss a conference. So we had a virtual conference the 1 year, and they really supported us, financially and with content for that conference, and we really got through it kind of unscathed. Yes, did it hurt a little bit? Yeah, sure, it hurt a little bit, but it really didn't. Put a dent in it. And then the second year we went with a hybrid, which kind of turned the international conference into an American conference because there was still travel restrictions.
That's right.
Overseas. Mm-hmm. But we had a conference of a couple of hundred people that year in Reno, and the people that were there enjoyed it.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was good. The presentations and the way it was put on was great. And then we had remote presentations.
And so it worked out. But then as things opened up, really what happened is not just for IPMI, it's this whole sort of event type business. It kind of exploded a bit because even for people on vacation, right? People just wanted to get out with people. So what we found is that there was a real desire to do that. So, and speaking of other events, so that's when we created this winter meeting. The winter meeting used to be 3 separate committee meetings. We put them together and now have them in February in Florida, which is not a bad place to be in February. And we found that that's really become our really technical meeting. It's a little bit different than the annual conference. At these winter meetings, it's technical sessions all day long. Whereas I described earlier, the annual conference, we know there's a lot of meetings going on, so we truncate and have the sessions essentially in the morning for the most part. But by putting that winter meeting together, we've created another sort of opportunity for people to, again, connect, learn, build relationships.
How many chapters are in the IPMI now?
Oh, I'm going to have to take inventory here. But there's about 6 or chapters. Chapters we have. There's 3 active chapters.
3 active chapters.
I was thinking committees.
Yeah.
So it's the New York chapter, the New England chapter, and the European chapter. And while I'm on that, so our New York chapter has an event coming up in September during Platinum Week. It's the day before our Platinum Dinner. The New England chapter has an event, I think it's September 7th in Rhode Island. And then our European chapter in November has their big annual seminar, which is going to be in Vienna. And this is all available on our website to view.
It'll be a nice trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been to Vienna, so it's
I'd
the
like
first
to
time
go.
for me.
I've been there. It's beautiful. Question about so pre-COVID, I heard conversations about an interest to form a West chapter here in the United States, say west of the Mississippi. Any future thoughts? Future thoughts on that?
Okay, we've actually had sort of a different take, and this is when we went through the strategic planning process, which we'll be finishing up before the end of the year. Is personally, and the board is behind this right now, not in favor of actually setting up more chapters, and I'll explain why. What makes chapters work is geography and the nucleus of companies around a place. So if you take New York and New England, why that's a natural because for the most part,
it's a cluster for manufacturing.
There's a cluster, but the other part of it is that one of the roles that the chapters play is, without getting into an age thing, the younger professionals who do not get the opportunity from their companies to come to the big annual conference can go to a chapter. The chapter meetings, for the most part, are, an afternoon and an evening event and things like that. The European one's a couple of day event. So as an example, when I was president of Metalor, I would take 10 or 12 young people from various parts of the operation, customer service, factory, the lab. They never get to travel anywhere, and yet they can start their journey of connecting to the world of precious metals by going to the chapters event. So to get back to your question, the West is a pretty big place. And so the thing about it is that we looked at it, and there's no real nucleus of, especially you need a couple of big companies, there's no real nucleus anywhere in the West that could satisfy that. Right. So what we're doing from a strategic point of view is we want our growth to come through the committees. So that's why you see we've formed some new committees. We've actually combined a couple of the committees and created a different, more extensive focus, if you will. So we think the draw is through committees, because then when you have committees, you can create an event wherever you want and then pull in a draw. And so an example of that is what we do with the Sampling and Analytical Conference. So we created an event with the help of Corby Anderson, who's a member and a professor at the Colorado School of Mines. So we created an event for them, and then now COVID knocked us out for 1 year there, but we're having an event there this October again. And once again, many of the people that can't come here that are laboratory managers or things like that are for their member company do get the opportunity to go to that, because it's a heavy technical scientific session, and
it's in a great setting.
It's in a great setting, and the key is that we're trying to offer things to a wide variety of the functions within our member companies.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Larry.
Okay.
How did you start your career in the precious metals industry? What led you to the precious metals?
Okay, so I came out of finance, so I had a really just for about 3 years, 2 different jobs, just regular accounting jobs, and it was in New York City. I lived in New Jersey, and I was just looking for another opportunity, and an opportunity at Engelhard came up. So I was a very young accountant here in September of 1978, and was hired by Engelhard. And the thing about that went on for about 26 years and went through a whole variety of financial functions and then into general management functions. But Engelhard, like Johnson Matthey, Heraeus, and Umicore, and actually predecessor to part of the precious metal part of Umicore, Degussa Corporation, they were basically like the universities of precious metals.
Right.
So basically, I may have an accounting degree, but really my degree is from Engelhard. So
from all the mentoring that occurred.
yeah, exactly. And the thing about it, it was the way Engelhard was run, and I think some of the other companies too. And back in those days, there was really no sort of protect my job type of attitude that maybe exists in some companies. I'm not saying the precious metal industry, but in generally in some companies with younger people. And it was really like almost not written, but people took it as part of their job to mentor people. So I was fortunate to have several great ones, over the years. You know what I mean?
It's awesome.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wondered that, so that's why I wanted to ask you why you have some time and we have your audience here.
How would you encourage someone on the sidelines who's thinking about perhaps joining, but they haven't quite crossed over and made that decision? How would you encourage
to the industry or to IPMI?
To industry people.
Well, the thing about this industry, and in fact, I'll give you a little story. We were doing a project, sort of a SAP project at Metalor. And we had a guy from Switzerland, a young guy, sort of an IT guy, stationed with us for about 6 months. So we'd have all these sessions on how it's a pretty elaborate program to do that. And you're working the whiteboard and things like that. And so he would say without calling me an old guy, he was saying, how can you still be excited about this stuff every day? And I said, the one thing about this industry is, and it goes for many, many functions, that every day you come in is a different day. Mm-hmm. You're learning. And I said, see that whiteboard over there? I've been doing this a long time. We use that still to solve problems, you know what I mean? And you put things on there, and
we do.
So the thing about it is, it's intriguing. There's really never a dull day. You're always learning something new. You get something thrown at you, you have to react to it and figure your way out of something. And so, to me, I've been fortunate enough that, in fact, even my family asked me, I never ever looked at, today I got to go to work.
I
never looked at it that way.
I agree with that. I feel the same way about this industry and what I do. And the funny thing about the whiteboard is we went from small to medium, and now we've got these huge whiteboards we use, and there's never enough space. There's never enough space on those whiteboards.
Yeah.
Every day we're on the whiteboard.
Okay, all right.
Office. So,
Larry, thank you for your time. We know it's a precious commodity with you conducting these conference today, and
thank you both. I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. And again, for all of you out there, again, the IPMI, connecting you to the world of precious metals, and come here to connect, learn, and build relationships. Thank you.
That's right.
What is the website?
www.ipmi.org. And for the members out there that are watching this, we have this new app, and the app is not just for the conference as it has been in the past. It's for use all year long. So please take advantage of that.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well,
Perfect.
thank you, Larry. Thank you, Sandra.
Okay. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you.